Hello
Welcome back.
to Sustainability in the Sea, a podcast by ocean people. I dragged Alex into this episode.
I'm back.
He really didn't want to come. He's a more of a behind the scenes guy, but I had to because we're doing the recap, the annual recap that we do on the show each year.
This is my one time a year I'm on the podcast.
No,
so.
Not one time. You guys comment if you want Alex in more episodes. You're like, I don't want to know the answer. Riley, yeah, Riley's here too.
Riley's always here. So.
Sorry if you hear the licking. Anyway, happy end of year, guys. Hope you'll be listening to this probably during, hopefully, holiday break. Hopefully not working. Hopefully. We will not be working either.
Let's go.
And be
We're always working.
hosting our families. But yeah, we just always want to take this moment to, like this time of the year, and to share with you guys kind of what we're doing. You see a lot of it on the external side, but maybe you don't know a lot of the internal work, and some of the stuff, frankly, it just gets too busy that we don't get to tell you guys.
So here we are.
Yeah, and we're going to go chronologically through the year of everything Futureswell did. Before we start, I just want to say, like, none of this work is possible without you guys being here and being in our community and listening and sharing our posts and following us, because our social media channels are what make our advocacy and action and ocean news like seen and important, because you guys hear it. So keep doing that. And if you have like an ocean person in your world who's looking for more ways to help and protect this place, especially this year in the US, send them our stuff. We'd be forever grateful.
Yeah, there's a lot to do.
There's a lot to do. All right, let's get into it. Welcome back to Sustainability and the Sea.
All right, this was a big year for us.
Was it? Isn't it always a big year?
It just keeps getting bigger, which I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, I've had a lot of guilt about the ways that Futureswell has grown this year. But unfortunately, I do want to start with, so in January, the Trump administration took office.
Yeah.
And I feel like the first couple months, we were kind of being like shocked with the job
For sure.
loss. So
Because ocean conservation was fairly well funded during the Biden administration.
it was the largest climate investment ever done.
And so we just we had gigs and contracts, and everyone had work around us. And as soon as the Trump administration took over, it was a lot.
So the federal workers were laid off, and then also they paused a bunch of grants.
Yeah, the funding just kind of stopped for many organizations.
Until the Department of Justice counteracted, and then the money was liquidated. But then there was mass firings or furloughs across different environmental agencies. So across NOAA, across the Environmental Protection Agency, across our national parks was a huge part. But basically, it was kind of like this shock factor for at least me, where I was like, oh my gosh, I just watched for the last 4 years what it meant for an administration to invest so much in climate and the environment, and now I'm watching the entire other end of the spectrum, and people are losing their jobs all around us. What was that like for you?
So this was also the year that I essentially became full-time with Futureswell, which was good and bad. I think I left my job at the federal agency in November, December of last year.
Good timing, just getting out right before the chaos.
Yeah, and we obviously didn't know what was going to happen during the election.
We had no idea.
We were hopeful that Kamala was going to win, and I was just all right, I think I'm ready to go full time. I think I'm ready to make the jump, and we sent it. And then we were wait a minute, what just happened? But then we saw the reduction in force with the federal government, and so it worked out in that sense too.
Yeah, no, I think you were good. Yeah, what about your previous colleagues and coworkers?
I know a lot of people who got laid off or were forced to retire. That was a big one.
Yeah, forced to retire was a biggie.
Which is tough, but
I have this memory of us just walking on the beach and running into a colleague, and she was just my biggest grant was just rescinded today, and we were sorry to hear that. But it was it felt like every day was an experience like that.
Yeah,
And
honestly.
I remember it was almost like this huge wake up call. It felt like a giant alarm of like, oh my gosh, get ready for this next wave of what ocean work looks like in the US. Futureswell wasn't heavily impacted because we were working locally at the time and have moved into national work since, which we'll get into. So Alex had come full time at the end of last year, and it seems like we timed that perfectly.
Yep.
And
Grateful for that.
And the Trump administration took over, and we started watching the domino effect of his onslaught of legislative actions. Please let us know if you were also impacted at all in any way, because I think that the job market has been really difficult for people, and I'm seeing a lot of people move from federal work to more advocacy or nonprofit work.
Mm-hmm.
But we were focused, I think, from January to May on the state level legislative session in Hawaii. And each year, Futureswell helps put on Pilina Kanaloa, the Ocean Day at the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
That was so great. This year, is this year 3 or year 4?
Yeah, and similar to Futureswell, it just keeps getting bigger and better. So
yeah, so if you're Hawaii based, in the spring, we help curate this event where nonprofits get to get their toes wet in advocacy. They can meet with lawmakers, they can do education and outreach. It's a community event at the Capitol, and we'd love for you to come.
It's in March this year.
Yeah, it's going to be March. I think we have the date, March 10th. March 10th. So save the date. How would you say this year's Pilina Kanaloa compared to last year's?
I feel like this year was way better. It was much more organized, partially because of us, partially because of our colleagues. It felt like a lot more smooth for me on the back end.
Yeah, I think we were kind of bootstrapping it for those first couple years, and this was a year we added a pauhana, we started doing award ceremonies, but putting together events like these, event planning is really stressful for me personally, like my nervous system, but it was, when you have a team that you can trust, it's been way easier, and I think that we've kind of stepped into more of a role where we hope to do this event annually to serve the ocean community here in Hawaii and help them build confidence in what it means to be an advocate.
Honestly.
Yeah.
What about your legislative wins this year?
Yeah, so I don't even think we did an episode on this.
Well, here it is.
We passed the green fee this year.
After how many years of you working on it, and then how many years total? Because you hopped in a couple years in.
I don't even know. I was part of it for 6 years, and the initiative is 8 years old.
And honestly, that's like a good to average timeline of getting a bill passed is what we've learned.
Someone I trusted told me early on, 5 to 10 years for a big policy win. And I said, no, ours will be faster. And it wasn't. That's just, I think, the formula with the way things go. But yeah, you guys have probably heard me talk about the green fee and sprinkle it in over the years, but it passed in May into law. It takes effect in January 2026.
Ooh, almost.
And the green fee is the first of its kind visitor fee in the entire nation. It is setting the precedent of what it means to tax visitors for their impact on a place that they're temporarily at, and then using those taxes to fund climate solutions. I've learned so much about myself through this process, and I really never thought we'd be here. Did you?
I thought eventually. I didn't know when. I thought more 10 years, but here we are.
We would make this joke that my friend and colleague, who is the person who originally brought me into the initiative, every year around August, because the bill would die in like April, May, we would all recoup in the summer, go on vacations with their families. Me and Alex would switch to other priorities. And then in August, I knew it. Sometime September, I would get an email. You want to go to coffee? You want to go to lunch? And that email would be asking me to do it again.
Classic. That's the way it goes. Just go to coffee.
Yeah. So I feel so grateful we're here. Futureswell is going to continue to support the coalition as the fund is stood up and as first year projects are, but the fund has an advisory council to provide project recommendations each year, so they've got so much of that leadership covered, and they're incredible. The advisory council is made up of incredible experts, which is exactly what we wanted all those years of envisioning what an effective green fee would be. And the bones are being stood up, and
It's exciting.
yeah,
It really is.
I can't wait to see what gets selected for first year of funding to kind of
Honestly.
like set this precedent
Yeah.
of what it will look like, and if other states will follow suit. Like, I just wonder what this means.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's set to generate between 100 and 140 million dollars every single year for climate solutions.
That's exactly what we need, especially with all of the funding gaps that we just talked about.
Oh yeah, I think that I wanted to mention that was a huge, I think, catalyst. There were a number of catalysts, of course. Climate disasters being on our doorstep here in Hawaii with the fires, but also the funding divestment. I think at a state level, the state was like, we cannot count on the federal government to be financing our needs as an environment. We need to be generating this in-house. In-house being our own economy, which is largely made up of the visitor economy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on the win. It doesn't end here, but
It doesn't. I remember everyone was celebrating, and I was like, I need to send personal emails to everyone who supported us over the years. And they were like, are you sure you do? And I was like, no, we do. That's what we need to do.
honestly,
But yeah, that was a really big win. The green fee was passed into law in 2025.
what else do we have this year?
I don't know. Let me look. We took some notes to prepare. Oh, we dropped a new merch collection.
Let's go.
So Futureswell has a very small, on-demand, sustainable, like clothing arm.
It's so soft.
It is soft.
I love the material.
Because it's made of bamboo, yeah?
I think so.
Yeah, so we do everything through a third party because we didn't want to, like, obviously stand up an entire wasteful clothing brand. But it's run through Bonfire. We don't ever promote it, and that's because I feel weird about it, but it's always in the link in bio, and if you order it, it's made on demand, so it takes about, like, 2 to 3 weeks to be screen printed. They don't seem to be holding up in the wash, but it's honestly... It kind of is a look, and people are wearing it like
It's a
with the
trade-off,
faded
yeah.
look. But
Yeah, more vintage vibes.
we launched a new merch collection. Shout out Hannah, our designer, and basically our idea was that we wanted people to be able to wear what they loved, the ocean, and like speak up for the ocean with what they were wearing. So we wanted to make sure you guys have an option to do that, or to buy gifts for the holiday season or for your friends' birthdays that are ocean inspired that go back to our storytelling work here. So what's your favorite
Nice.
one in
Check
the
it out.
collection?
I like the Ocean Conservationist for Everyone tee.
Hey, that's mine.
Oh, sorry.
Well, if you're an avid listener, there's a sustainability in the sea crop.
And hat.
Yeah, and a hat. The hat's not on demand. I think you have to order it off TikTok Shop.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, the merch shop. So that was a big deal.
We also launched our Ocean Creator Coalition, which
Oh yeah.
is huge.
Yeah, so before we get into that, can we talk about Capitol Hill Ocean Week?
Oh, yeah, let's talk
Yeah,
about it.
so-
I didn't go, so sorry.
Yeah,
Forgot.
no, that's okay. I think we did a debrief episode that's more in depth on this, but essentially, with the green fee passing and with us having such like strong footing now in the local policy space, I have been wanting Futureswell to move more into the national ocean space, which happened the second half of the year through the Ocean Creator Coalition and through some campaigns that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But it kind of all started because I went to Capitol Hill Ocean Week, which is an annual gathering in Washington, D.C., full of lobby days and events, and to talk about the ocean with lawmakers in D.C. And I went with Sustainable Ocean Alliance, shout out Mark Haver, and Dr. Mickey Rogers. It was like we were the group, and there was a number of other folks on the ground there. And I just learned so much about what's happening nationally. We got to participate in Big Blue and Youth Rise Up, youth training for advocacy. We met with a ton of elected officials about deep sea mining because at the time and then throughout the year, the Trump administration has been really trying to start deep sea mining as an industry in
have.
our national waters. Like, what has he been doing? Can we just give him a little summary on what's up with deep sea mining in the U.S. specifically?
Yeah, they're trying to ultimately open up waters off the Northern Marianas Islands.
Right
now. And American Samoa.
They did that in like August.
So there was a call to action there. They're also trying to like basically make it easier for deep sea mining companies to get their permits.
Yeah, they're
combining
like,
2 permits into 1.
Streamline the process so that these corporations can like be like, we're good to mine. And I'm just like, just so you guys know, like, no countries have ever mined their deep sea. Like, Trump really came to office and was like, we're gonna be the first, and it's like, that's not what we're trying to do.
And we really have no idea what the impacts are. And there are studies, but like,
it's bad.
Even that.
There was a study this year about like how the plumes, like the sediment plumes during deep sea mining disturbance, like disrupt so much of the benthic ecosystem.
Yeah, the whole food web. So
releasing methane. Yeah, we have no idea. And so he really came in hot on that, and that's what our lobby day focused on at Capitol Hill Ocean Week. So I don't know, I just learned a lot, and I also came home and I was like, we're moving into national work.
Wait, what was the key takeaway from that event for you?
People are chasing headlines in DC, which of course, because there's so much going on in the policy world.
Yeah.
And we need like a grounded entity, and there are coalitions. So to work in coalition with like a grounded ocean voice in DC, which exists, and we tapped in and joined a lot of those communities during my time there, which ended up laying the platform for so much of our other national work the rest of the year. I am so happy I went. I always like to tell people that like the biggest moments in your career are often like quiet conversations in corners, and I had so many of those there. I remember now a partner and a client came up to me, and we had just met in person for the first time. We'd been on Zooms together, and she was like, hey, like, I just want to hear a little bit more about your work. And that ended up creating a partnership that is like so important. And we also went to Upwell, which is the Ocean Justice Summit that takes place each year during Capitol Hill Ocean Week, which is specifically focused on the justice elements of ocean conservation work. That was an incredible conference for me, or summit. It was one day. And I just would recommend, I don't really always recommend conferences to people. I recommend that one.
Nice.
And then the world went on to go to the UN Ocean Conference, and we did not go, but it allowed us to be the reporting arm for our friends that were on the ground, which I think catalyzed us into what you were saying before, which was the launch of our Ocean Creator Coalition.
So what is our Ocean Creator Coalition?
What is our Ocean Creator Coalition?
It's basically a group of change makers in the ocean conservation field that typically use social media in some sense. And it's basically this like group that we can get together, bounce ideas off each other, share opportunities, organize,
advocate. And they've been essentially like, while it is a coalition, it's around 40 to 50 creators right now at the time of recording this episode. I view it like as the entity is like a megaphone. Like the idea is that, oh, they're trying to mine the deep sea in American Samoa. Let's activate everybody on this issue right now so that we can create one collective voice use them as a megaphone to get that messaging out there.
And I feel like our role as like, I guess the organizers is to like make it easy for folks who want to be their individual megaphones, and they're all like in their tiny community.
Yeah.
So we'll make like one-pagers and resources or help with editing and like
script it.
Yeah, that I think from what we've heard is a big help to creators who might not have the time, or like a lot of the times they're working full-time conservation jobs and then also doing media in addition to that. And so however we can support and like help each other out, and like the whole coalition is super important.
Yeah, I think also sorry, there's a gecko and it's really big.
I don't like that.
Hawaii problems. I think also like our role at Futureswell, me and Alex's role, is to like make things easy. So we make things easier on the creator with the stuff that you just described, but we also are trying to make it easier on you guys. We want it to be, I always say, every single action that we ask someone to do online has to take 5 minutes or less.
Oh yeah,
we
totally.
Make the action toolkits for you guys to then go to our link in bio, copy and paste the comments, submit it, because we want it to be as easy as possible for you to participate in meaningful action for the ocean, meaningful advocacy. I've been a creator on the other side, and people will give us one-pagers, and sometimes it's that's not enough. That's not easy enough for me to make a video. Sometimes I need additional help. And we found that with the creators because I believe the influencers of tomorrow in the ocean are practitioners too. They're doing the work. We can't just be having spokespeople, and we can't just be having, figureheads. We need to be having people that are also building the solutions, and that's what we're trying to resource with the Creator Coalition. So they might not have as much followers as, say, the celebrities we follow, but I think that they should.
Yeah, honestly. And so, like, with this coalition, or with the launch of this coalition, we've started working on, like, more targeted campaigns.
Mm-hmm. What was our first one? I think it was American Samoa.
Yeah, American Samoa's deep sea mining, which we talked about.
Yeah, so Trump was trying to open up the outer continental shelf of American Samoa, a territory of the United States. So what I felt like I learned so much from this campaign was, like, the local community on the ground in American Samoa was already unified in opposition. They were like, we reject this. We do not want this. Even the local government. And so to have that alignment in position, instead of it being like, some people agree, some people don't, they were like, no. And we were like, great. We are basically here to be a megaphone for that message from you. And coalitions were supporting it. I think we put out like 18 videos. It was a huge ask. Thank you if you're listening and you participated in that.
Yeah.
We wanted to get as many public comments opposing the plan to mine the waters off American Samoa. And that's how we learned our action toolkit system.
Yeah, pretty much. And we try to make it as easy as possible, as you said earlier. It's like, we can give you a template comment that you can kind of just like plug and play, copy and paste.
Share.
Yeah. I feel like I would be more likely to do that than having to think of something on my own.
I'm definitely more likely to do that. I'm sure everyone watching is also more likely to do that.
All right, what was our second campaign?
I think it was monuments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys, it's been a wild ride, but that's the thing, is we built all this infrastructure because it was a need this year with all of the defense work that we're doing under the Trump administration nationally. And a lot of all of our campaigns have pretty much been nationally at this point, but we're continuing to share like international ocean news and international deep sea mining updates on all of our channels. It's just not part of, I would say, like the action-based campaign work that we're doing. That's now funded, which is crazy.
And so basically, like, what Trump wanted to do was they wanted to, like, rescind all of the marine national monuments. And so there are 5 right now in the U.S.
And reopen them to extractive activities like industrial-scale fishing, drilling, things like that.
And so...
Or actually not drilling, right?
No, it would be drilling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the idea of rolling back all of our marine protected areas is so blasphemous. I don't know what word to use. Like, I just can't believe that that's where we're at.
I agree. 100% I agree.
So what do we do?
And so with that one, we once again made a video campaign asking people to, again, submit public comments. And so if you haven't been to the Federal Register, we're going to send you there a lot, so get used to it.
Especially under this administration, to be honest. It's the easiest way. And I think that you probably hear people on social media being like, call your reps, call your reps. The Federal Register is separate than that. So, like, you can call your reps on it. But if our job as part of making it easy for you is, like, the most effective thing you can do on this specific campaign is submit a comment to the Federal Register. We do that work with strategic coalition partners. But, like, it's not always calling your reps. It's also submitting public comments. And I think we saw that, like, for example, I'm going to digress. But with the public lands, a lot of people saw that make a lot of noise over the summer in social media, or in the fall. And it was like, they're going to cut funding to our public lands. So that was the congressional national budget that was in. So you were going to call your reps because the reps are the ones who have to agree on that budget. But with this is all being run through like BOEM and NOAA. And so... Which
is basically like Department of Interior, Department of Commerce.
And so, like, so they use the Federal Register.
Different branches of government, yeah.
Yeah. Instead of calling... You would call your reps on an issue related to like a piece of legislation, including the national budget. For this stuff, it's the Federal Register, which you get to share your opinions on. So, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got thousands of comments submitted from our campaign.
We worked with so many community partners, which I'm so grateful for. We got to provide funding to creators for participating or for spokespeople. And I was just really grateful for the National Ocean Protection Coalition for believing in this as being like an important organizing lever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we came out of that campaign in the end of October, early November, I was like, oh, we're digital organizers.
Yeah.
That's what this is. That is what this is.
And it's needed. Because like the on the ground organizing is like kind of one arm or one piece of the puzzle. Digital organizing is another. Like we have to be attacking from every different angle.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
That's actually the last thing we wanted to talk to you guys is the last initiative that we're running, which the last podcast episode focused on, which was offshore drilling. What happened with the offshore drilling situation in the U.S. this year?
So basically, once again, the Trump administration put out a plan.
5 years, right? 5-year plan.
Yeah, it's a 5-year plan to open up 30 or more new lease sites for drilling. And some of these lease sites, there has been drilling banned for almost 30 years. Jesus. And so we're just about to like, these like ecosystems have like essentially finally started to recover from whatever happened 30 plus years ago, just the degradation and destruction of it. And now we're like, oh, let's just open it up again. And
yeah, it's like 21 sites in Alaska and then 6 to 7 sites in the Gulf and California each, which is so many sites.
Yeah.
And like this is in our ocean, guys. They're drilling in our ocean.
And the U.S. is already the top producer of oil.
Yeah.
In the world. And it doesn't produce new jobs. They're just, the talking points are endless. And
it's a huge risk. Yeah, if you want to learn more about the issue, you can listen to the previous episode where I talk a lot about it. But what is our campaign? Because I feel like this is one of a really like, as like a founder, this is so exciting to me because we're working nationally and then we're working regionally. And I think that it's a good example to show them as well, like how there's on the ground community organizing and then there's like on the internet digital organizing. So what are we doing nationally?
So nationally, we have like one arm of our campaign is kind of talk about like the overview of all 3 different locations, California, Alaska, and the Gulf. And
like elevate it.
Yeah. And basically like educate, make it be known, and then encourage people or empower people to make a public comment.
Yeah. And then regionally, which happened very quickly, but I am so excited about, is I just like, can we just like give a moment for California? So California has been carrying, and really the West Coast in general, but because there's sites in California, we're talking about California right now. They have fought offshore drilling on their coastlines
for decades.
So long. They have toolkits that are generational. They have organizers that were like, I've been doing this since the 80s. They have organizations that have their volunteer bases. They were like, oh, we're ready. We are ready to act. And so because all of this like groundwork power building had been done, we were able to come in as a supportive partner and say, we're just going to get your message out there using creators and using your own community leaders. So part of the arm of our campaign is to support their people's hearings. Yeah. What's a people's hearing?
So basically the government is not allowing like public hearings for people to kind of speak up in person.
Of course they aren't. They're just asking for public comment, which by the way, please, while you're listening to this, just while we tell you about the campaign, just go submit your public comment. It's in the link in bio right now. We have until the end of January.
Yep.
Sorry.
And so the people's hearings are basically where organizations will get together and kind of host these events. And they are there to educate. They're there to like empower. They're there to show people all the different ways that people can get involved. They can submit public comment. There's different petitions you can sign. And so it just like...
They're giving their testimony too.
Yeah. And it's different. Yeah. It's just they're trying to help organize because the government will not.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think about how like they're just not listening to public feedback.
Yeah. And what we learned recently is that the reason that we need to, regardless of if they listen to it right now or not, we need to make sure that we get as much public input as we can. So then when our environmental lawyers and our allies sue the government for
ignoring
what the people want.
Yeah.
They have this as backing. And so that's why it's so important too.
Yeah, and I think that it's kind of like, oh, does one comment make a difference? And it's like, no, it does. It's
Yeah.
like, it really does. And obviously we're all just one person, but when we work collectively like this, which is how Futureswell is running these campaigns, like, we have a lot. Like, I think that there's like 8,000 on that's on the Endangered Species Act one, but the offshore drilling one's ticking up. We want like thousands, you guys.
Yeah, I think offshore drilling is around 2,000 to 3,000 comments right now, and
we need to get that to like 20.
And so with the American Samoa deep sea mining campaign, that was up to 70,000+.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was 72,000 or something. And so we're on track for that with this campaign, and so we need all of your help.
Yeah, we need all of your help. And then, so that's like a lot of the on-the-ground organizing. So if you're following Futureswell on your channels, you'll see a lot of community perspectives from those people's hearings that are taking place across the California coast between now and the end of the comment period at the end of January. And then you'll also see creators that we are asking talk about this issue and providing them grants. So I think we just did the numbers and we've dispersed over $10,000 in creator grants to support ocean communications on social media. And I am just so, it's only been a few months and I'm just so floored with, yes, I believe this is an important piece of the narrative shift conversation, but also just the fact that we're actually paying people for this work that's so needed. Ocean climative narrative is like what I've always wanted to do with Futureswell.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to be able to like provide funding to people that put in all this work.
They've built their, I mean, these people, like, you know, every single person in our coalition, they're like, they're spending every day thinking about these issues and thinking about how to solve them. If we can just be a little part of helping make so much of the free work they do not free, it feels like a small role we can play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
So, okay, looking ahead, what do you want in 2026? I feel like Futureswell's not a baby anymore. We've turned 5 years old. 5 years old.
5 years.
And yeah, we're now a child. And so what do we want for ourselves in 2026?
I'm really excited to grow the coalition.
Okay.
And really like give it more structure and form, because honestly right now it's just basically a bunch of friends who are supporting each other in whatever way that means.
Isn't that what all coalitions are?
Pretty much, but we're gonna have some structure and spreadsheets, and it's gonna feel like a
we really
organized coalition.
I hope our clients aren't listening to this. Things need to be organized. I just want to have more people. I want to onboard it. I want to have more opportunities for the creators to meet each other.
Yeah.
I want to train all of you girlies in our emails and DMs that I'm so sorry if we have never replied. Things are hectic, but I want to have opportunities for you guys to learn more about ocean climate content creation from the creators in the coalition. And so if you want to try it out yourself or see it as part of your, toolkit, that you have some skills in that. I want us to grow our team, or at least grow our work, while also having more balance. I feel like we've been on a marathon, and me and Alex...
Definitely recently.
I think we might be burnt out, or definitely Alex is. And, I want us to take more advantage of the founder schedule and, I don't know, go on our boat more on the weekdays.
Let's do it.
Yeah, be a little bit more... I think we're not growing. I don't think we need to grow our Futureswell in clients anymore or in projects. I think we just need to grow it in organization and meaning and impact, and then allow me and Alex to kind of stay in that lane. The creator... I struggled a lot. I've talked a little bit about this on the show, with figuring out what our niche is in this whole world, because we do so many different things. And I think the Creator Coalition has really showed me that this is it. I don't know, do you feel that way?
I definitely think this is a pillar of Futureswell.
Yeah, and it could be what Futureswell ultimately becomes known for globally, and it's something that I know requires so much care, and I just want to be really intentional with that part of this as we continue to support our local clients and our local work and policy always. So That being said, I think we might need a video editor going into 2026, very part-time, very contracted video editor. If that's you, please reach out to Alex. Yeah. What else do we want to call for kokua from the community? Any other goals?
I don't know, just keep spending public comment. That's all I've been thinking about for the last like 2 months.
Yeah, in January, me and Alex do like our goals for our personal life and then for our business and reflect on the year. And so this is a little early for that. So I think right now you're just in the trenches of offshore drilling. But you guys, this 5-year plan is like our moment to stop drilling forever. And it's not just a 60-day comment period. Please submit comment, but they're also going to have different phases of the plan that they roll out. Mm-hmm. And I think that there will be, comment periods for each of those phases.
Yeah,
right?
It will be a fight for the next handful of years. So
yeah.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. We've got you covered. Yeah. Wow. What a year. Go us. How was your first year working full time?
It's been great. I have worked more than I ever have, and I think that's a good thing.
Is it a good thing?
We'll see.
If you want to learn a little more about consulting, me and Alex sat down and talked about consulting, and Alex talks a little bit about the transition between working for a structured government role to a completely unstructured startup vibe role. And yeah, your nervous system probably got a shock.
It did, but I've mellowed out in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I feel like a year is like enough time to get footing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys have questions for us or you want to talk about any of the projects that we talked about today, put them in the comment section here. Episodes have comments now. We see them all, and we'll integrate it into our 2026 podcast schedule. So yeah, thanks for listening to Sustainability in the Sea.